What is up, everybody? To Reverse TV here today, and we're gonna talk about Hellblade Senua Sacrifice. The next gen upgrade is skipping the PS5, and pretty much the article just talks about how Hellblade is owned by Ninja Theory. My bad. Ninja Theory is owned by Microsoft, so they didn't put out the patch for the PS5. And yeah, it has been a lot of meltdowns. A lot of people react to this on social media. And this comment section is full of saltiness by the Sony guys in particular. So the first guy's comment was just removed, so I don't even know what type of salty response he had because this comment got removed. But this guy says, "But cuddly Uncle Phil said games were for everybody." Sad face. One of the best games I ever played. Sucks that the sequel won't be in PS5. I feel like okay. Never intended to get back to this title anyway. Disappointing but expected. I have owned this game for like 3 years and never started. Really should. Real shame that Ninja Theory readily ditched PlayStation after the platform supported them for so long, including Hellblade. But the biggest issue I had with them was for so long they talked about Hellblade being a proof of concept that an innovative AAA game can be made and be successful with barely a year past that they sell to Microsoft. Way to stick to your principle, guys. So this is probably, I mean, this comment was kind of a little bit salty, but this is kind of one of the first real salty comments. This guy's real butthurt that Ninja Theory got bought by Microsoft. And it's like, why do you expect them to make an update for the PS5 version? That's the direct competition to Xbox. Like, why would they make it? Why would they release an update at this point? Or a next gen update? I purchased this game on Steam at release purely to support the independent developer. Now I don't play on PC anymore and Ninja Theory is no longer independent. Moving on. Okay. To be fair, Ninja Theory are a significantly smaller studio than once under ZeniMax. With the sequel also in active development, I'm sure it could have been outsourced, but Ninja Theory themselves have a lot on their plate. Played it, didn't care for it, won't go back. Not unexpected that they will focus on their console and their long in development sequel. Let's see. Are there people still genuinely shocked when this stuff happens now? I guess it's a bit annoying, but ultimately this theory is a Microsoft studio now, and I wouldn't expect any studio under Microsoft banner to put more effort put in more effort than they are contractually obliged to into the PlayStation platform, which makes sense. So it's like that's obvious. Why would anyone think it would be any different? He says, "I'm exempting Minecraft here. That thing is a whole beast of its own." Well, let's see. I think the Psychonauts 2 is also not getting a native PS5 version. So that's two Microsoft games that aren't being upgraded. Shame, but I can understand why they would want the Xbox version look and slash play better. Let me see. Let me see some of the real salty comments. Never cared for this game or the studio, so no skin off my back. Because I was reading this earlier, I was seeing some super salty comments. Sony can't be bothered to update their own games to Horizon Zero Dawn. That is a shame too. Like, I'm kind of mad at that. Like, I wouldn't mind playing Horizon Zero Dawn, the first game, at 60 FPS. Because they haven't done any upgrades to that game, but it's on PC running at 60 and higher frames, so that's kind of disappointing. But continuing on his comment, he says, "For PS5 and you guys want Microsoft to do it, I really enjoyed Senua. Nice effort from Ninja Theory. Too bad they got bought by Microsoft. I hope all the best from the studio under the Microsoft mantle." I think it's quite petty to skip provide upgrades or already released games. Why would they release an upgrade for the PS5? Their direct competition. Why would they do that? That makes no sense. I fully understand new games from the studio skipping PlayStation, but this just leaves a sour taste to PlayStation owners. It's not like this game is a selling point for Microsoft anyway, the sequel is. If Microsoft was smart, they would have given the upgrade to PS5 owners and used it to lure them for the sequel. You know what Microsoft probably should have did, since he said they should have upgraded to PS5 owners? They probably should have made a director's cut of Hellblade for the PS5 and charged them for it. That would have been pretty hilarious that they did that. That was super petty and hilarious as well too that they did that. But yeah. A shame, but not a surprise. Let's see. Shocked Pikachu face. Let's see. Not that I personally care about this, but Phil Spencer is such a hypocrite. Now Phil Spencer is a hypocrite now. Sony gets one exclusive character in Avengers. Phil exclusives are anti-consumer. Sony doesn't play along with crossplay. Phil, when we all play, we all win. Hellblade Senua Sacrifice gets a next gen update. Phil, no, they can't have that. I mean, these Sony guys have been talking for the longest how Microsoft needs to get. They have no exclusives. How they need to be better and compete more. And now the narrative is that the focus is changing on actually competing more because it's not gonna be like the Xbox One generation. They are kind of salty. It's like this is what happens when there's actual competition between the two companies, Microsoft and Sony. It's not gonna be like how it was last generation. It was pretty much like no competition. Pretty much, it was like pretty much like a landslide. But now it's actual competition this generation, and they don't like it. They don't like the competition anymore now. Old game, fine for the Xbox fans. PlayStation owners have a lot to do with the new game, so we can skip this one. Let's see. Gotta love the comments in these type of articles that go, oh yeah, well said game sucks anyway, lol. As for Hellblade, it is a surprise that it is getting an update, so it will be like Horizon Zero Dawn. I just wish we got a Heavenly Sword remake, sequel, anything. Oh yeah, they did make Heavenly Sword, so they're never getting a sequel for that game too, because that is interesting. Oh, what if the Heavenly Sword game, the Heavenly Sword gets a sequel that's on Xbox? That would be so messed up. Because they could bring that game back. They did make that game on PlayStation. It was a PlayStation exclusive originally, so let's continue on. Not surprised, pathetic Microsoft with the cash sign instead of the S. This guy was super salty. Have been waiting a long time for a decent price on this. Now I wouldn't even play it for free. Don't want to play a second-rate version of any console game, whether it be a game Sony censors or one Microsoft leaves behind. I guess Microsoft loses my money then. All of this because they gave an update for Xbox Series X for free. Jeez. I mean, the game still is on PlayStation. It still is on PS4. You can still play the PS4 version. You just won't get the next gen update. So, let's see. I have no problem if it's already 60 FPS. That was a long comment. The combat was boring, so it wasn't all that great to me. Only 6.8 million people played the game. Is that only on PC or is that okay? Won't bother buying it then. This is just a D move. How is it? This is just competition. This is competition. It's like it doesn't make any sense for Xbox to release the next gen upgrades for the competition on the PS5. It makes zero sense to do that. These comment sections are always a laugh, right? It really is. He's spot on with that point right there. Sadly, I should cut down on my sodium intake, but it's hard with all this salt. There's definitely a lot of salt in this comment section, by far. There's definitely a lot of salt up in here. How do I feel? Remove unconstructive. I must avoid crossing this thin line with my comments. Yeah, a few comments so far got removed. You know how salty they have to be to get their comment removed? Like, jeez. It's a shame, really. It's a lovely looking game. It would have been nice to see it looking its best on PS5. To be honest, I thought this game was overrated, boring, repetitive combat and puzzles. Shocking from the guys that did DMC and Heavily Sword, to name a few. Microsoft, welcome to them. Thumbs down. Okay. A shame there won't be a PS5 version. Doesn't prevent me from enjoying the PS4 version, though. Okay. Was a pretty good game at the time, but I never went back to it. After beating it. It's disrespectful. Though that Sony PS5 is ignored as the game is out on those systems, So the fair thing to do would be to upgrade the PS4 version 2 for the PS5. PS4 owners supported the studio by buying the game when it released. Why would they upgrade it? It makes no sense to do that. It literally makes zero sense to do that. To be expected, really. This is now an Xbox first-party studio. At least somebody understands this in the comment section. They aren't a Sony fanboy. It makes sense. It's an Xbox first-party studio. It's expected for the next gen upgrade to skip the PS5. This game is old and was never promised a next gen upgrade. If Insomniac released Sunset Overdrive Remastered on PS5, do you think they'll do an enhanced Series X version? Of course not. So we shouldn't expect the same here. Exactly. He gets it. This guy gets it right here. Give this guy a round of applause. He gets it. Let's see. I can understand that they skip it, but please, Phil, stop saying it's wrong to keep things exclusive or to exclude platforms. It's always wrong if it doesn't work in his favor. That's what I'm getting out of this. D-move, Microsoft, D-move. Let's see. Don't look at me, I'm just here for the comments. The comments are definitely entertaining. This is a shame how this game is suddenly a terrible game, really. Microsoft paid their bills, has to be at least something good for that. They bought a bunch of indie developers and a few bigger developers. People are saying Sony would have done the same. You do know that Sony released a native Xbox Series version of MLB The Show 21 alongside last gen Xbox One version, right? They could have just left it with Xbox One version to fill the MLB agreement. Okay, I'm about to read all of that. One of my absolute favorite games of the last few years. The sequel is one of the only reasons I'll be picking up an Xbox Series X. Yep, you do have that option if you want to play Hellblade Senua Sacrifice at the best resolution on consoles, and you want to play the sequel, get an Xbox Series X. One of the worst games I played last gen, so no loss. You know, you kind of gotta worry about, you kind of gotta think about some of these comments like this. Like, why even post that if this was a game that you didn't care about? I kind of sense some saltiness with this comment, just a little bit of saltiness. I'll take some of it. Never got around to playing this, and now never will. Good luck for peeps on Xbox playing it with that GIMP Xbox controller. What? What does that even mean? A GIMP Xbox controller, okay. Remember, it was not Sony's choice. The contract was only renewed. Okay, you're talking about MLB. Okay, let's see. The game has been put out for years now. Not many PlayStation players are still playing this or will be buying this anymore, so this really isn't a big deal. It's alright when Xbox does it, but it's anti-consumer for Sony to do so. Honest man, Uncle Phil at his best. I'm not a wait. Let me see. I'm not a huge fan of this game, but this comment section is pretty sad. Not surprising, Phil gained all that goodwill by saying games are for everyone, while at the same time doing what Sony would do. Why aren't other gaming outlets talking about the hypocrisy? I mean, what hypocrisy? It's like Sony has been doing this for the longest. Sony's been doing it since they first started on the PS1 generation, making sure games are locked down to be exclusives. It's like now that Xbox is doing it, now that Microsoft is finally competing, because they say Microsoft needs to have exclusive games, it's a bad thing now? It's hypocrisy now? No, I don't think so. Let's see. The amount of salt over this is genuinely staggering. I never knew that so many 14-year-old console wars posted here. This comment section is pretty large. How long is this video? Let me see, how long is this? Yes, I'm included right here. These guys are super salty about this whole thing. It's like if you want, like I said, if you want to play this game with the best resolution, if you want to play it at the sequel on the best resolution on console, get an Xbox Series X. Yeah, that is all it is. That's all. That's all it is to it. Um, it is just hilarious. Like I said, it's been so much content to make, so much saltiness, so many salty meltdowns over this news, which I didn't think would cause this much reaction over this update, but it is. These guys are losing it. These guys are losing over this update. So I'm gonna conclude it right here. Definitely see your thoughts down below about this. Leave a like if you like this video. And as always, thanks for watching and peace.